Hey everybody, in this video we're going to get an update on what's happening as far as retirements for next year. We'll do a quick rundown with the Senate and the governors, but first we're going to do the U.S. House. And here's the latest one. Jennifer Wexton from Virginia's 10th. She's not going to run for re-election next year. Now it's Virginia. They're going to have the General Assembly elections coming up this year. And that's a different video, but as far as next year in the U.S. House, Wexton is going to step down. She was first elected in that blue wave of 2018, and this story indicates it's due to health reasons, and it's unfortunate. Sounds like she's got Parkinson's disease, and she was not able to make the progress she wanted. It's always a shame to hear about health concerns. Nobody wants a bad diagnosis. It's something we could all relate to. But as far as politics goes, this will be an open seat. Does that mean the Republicans could flip it? Not really. Here's the 10th district here. Cook PVI has it as a D+6. Biden won it by 19. Youngkin did way better a year later in the governor's election, but Terry McAuliffe still won it by about 5 points. And in the last U.S. House election, that's worth mentioning because that's the election where Hung Kao ran. He got the margin down to about 6.5, far better than the 13 back in 2020, but still a likely margin for Wexton. But that improvement on the margin seems to have bolstered Hung Kao enough to run for the U.S. Senate. I've looked at that in a different video, but that might have been an opportunity for Hung Kao to actually have a better opening to win this U.S. House seat. He's looking for an upgrade, but didn't really win this election. Maybe he ends up changing his mind, tries to get back into this race, but he's likely to lose against Kane. But it would be a very uphill climb for any Republican to win in this district. The 10th is right here. It's in Northern Virginia. It's outside the two deepest blue districts, but it's still blue enough, combined with the trends, to be generally off the table for the Republicans. But you never know. Things can change. If it's a red wave, then this district will be competitive. So Wexton, the latest to retire. Who else is retiring next year for the House? Well, I've yet to put out a 2024 House prediction. There's a lot going on with the legal battles with redistricting. Makes it kind of tough to fill out a map. But so far we've got 14 retirements, 10 Democrats, 4 Republicans. The vast majority of those are looking for an upgrade to the U.S. Senate. We've got Ruben Gallego, Barbara Lee, Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, Lisa Blunt Rochester, David Trone, Alyssa Slotkin, and Colin Allred for the Democrats. The only one outright retiring aside from Wexton is Grace Napolitano in California. Her district, that's in L.A. County. That's not in any danger of flipping. On the Republican side, we've got Jim Banks and Alex Mooney. They're looking for a promotion to the Senate. Dan Bishop in North Carolina, he's retiring to run for Attorney General of North Carolina. That's going to be an interesting race. But then we have the lone outright retirement. That is Victoria Spartz in Indiana. She's only in her second term. That was a surprise. A lot of people thought she might be looking for a U.S. Senate run, or at least stay in the House. She's young. She could come back in the future, but that's going to be an open seat for the Republicans. Prior to redistricting, that was the competitive district. Now it's pretty much off the table for the Democrats. So that's the House side. How about on the Senate? So far, we've got 6 retirements. We've got Feinstein in California, Tom Carper in Delaware, Mike Braun, who's done 1 term in Indiana. He's going for governor. Ben Cardin in Maryland, Debbie Stabenow in Michigan, and the one from last week, Mitt Romney in Utah. They are all retiring. Braun, the only one looking to go for a different office. Now, both in the Senate, especially in the House, there are going to be more retirements. We're only in September. Some people don't make their decision until the new year, so we're very likely to see some more names added to these lists over the next few months. But who are we waiting on in the Senate? So we'll scroll past the Nebraska special election where former Governor Pete Ricketts, he was appointed that seat. He's going to be running to finish out the last 2 years of Ben Sass's term. So after that, we've still got Sinema in Arizona. Now she's an independent. We're still not sure if she's going to run again. It's going to be a huge 3-way race. If she does, she could run. She could throw in the towel. It's completely up in the air. So who else are we still waiting on? We've got Bob Menendez in New Jersey. He's got baggage from scandals, but it's New Jersey. I would think he would be more vulnerable in a primary. He's already raised money. He's probably going to run again, but you never know. Sometimes things change. People want to spend more time with their family, or they just get older. They have health concerns. They get tired of it. This is not going to be a seat Republicans are expected to contest. Even with the baggage, Menendez won by double digits last time. Granted, it was a blue wave, but the partisan lean of the state is almost a guarantee for any Democrat. We've got Kevin Kramer in North Dakota. He's young enough. I would think he would run again. He's been in there only for 1 term, but as I just said, things change. Plenty of reasons somebody might step down, but that one is kind of the opposite of New Jersey. Democrats have little to no chance to pick that seat up. It's a similar story in Tennessee with Marsha Blackburn. She's got some Democratic challengers, but she's also only been in there for 1 term. I would think she would run again, but she could easily retire. I wouldn't be surprised, but either way, that one also pretty much off the table for the Democrats. We've also got Bernie Sanders in Vermont. I've talked about this previously. He's in his 80s. He might have one more run in him, but if he steps down, I would not be surprised in the slightest. But as far as partisan politics go, that is definitely going to stay blue. Even if Republican Governor Phil Scott ran, I'm not even sure if he could get it down under 10 in the end. And then the other critical race here is Joe Manchin in West Virginia. I've covered that before. Who knows what Manchin's going to do? That seat is in a lot of danger either way of flipping toward the Republicans. I would think Manchin should just ride off into the sunset, but he might have other ideas. He might want to give it one more run. Maybe he does something with no labels. Manchin's decision is probably going to be the most exciting of these remaining senators. Last, we've got John Barrasso in Wyoming. It's a super red seat. It's not going to flip. If something exciting happens in the primary, that's what I'll be covering. Other than that, we'll wait and see if Barrasso is going to run one more time. So those are the senators. Last, let's see which governors next year have not decided if they're going to run again. We are waiting on Greg Gianforte in Montana. I would be surprised if he doesn't run. If he does, I'd think he'd be the overwhelming favorite to win. But again, you'd never know. He might have things going on, and he could step down. Or he's just not somebody that wants to announce super early. And then we've got North Dakota. It's Doug Burgum, DB. He could technically drop out of the presidential race and run for re-election to a third term. North Dakota did pass a constitutional amendment, capping it at 2 terms, but he's grandfathered in, so maybe he does change his mind and end up running for term number 3. If not, it's a red state. It's almost certain to stay with the Republicans. And the last one we've got here, we've got Vermont. We've got Phil Scott. We don't know if he's going to run for a 5th term. A lot of Republicans probably consider this guy to be a Democrat, but in Vermont, he's consistently proven to pretty much be the most popular governor. He's figured out the secret sauce, be very liberal in a blue state, and you'll get a ton of crossover votes. It worked for Charlie Baker, it worked for Larry Hogan. If Phil Scott runs again, I can't imagine him losing. If he doesn't run, then unless the Republicans have another Phil Scott type of candidate that they could put out, it would seem like Democrats would flip this seat. Scott's been in there a while now, already 4 wins under his belt with the 2-year terms in Vermont. His neighbor Chris Sununu announced he's retiring after the 4 terms. I am interested to know what Phil Scott's going to do. And I could also mention Jay Inslee in Washington. He is eligible for a 4th term, but he's going to step down after 3. It's a fairly blue state. It's possible it gets competitive, but right now Democrats are going to start out as the clear favorites. So we will see what happens. But that's an overview of the retirements and the unknowns in the U.S. House, Senate, and the governors. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about any of these retirements? Is Jennifer Wexton's seat in any danger of flipping? Who else do you think is going to retire next year? We know it's not going to be Nancy Pelosi, but there's bound to be a bunch more names. What are Sanders and Manchin going to do? How about Phil Scott? Is he going to run again? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.